My honor is now to introduce my friend from University of Lodz, Dr. Grażyna Wieteska, because we would like to present the last paper today during this session. This paper, hello Grażyna, this paper is devoted to the topic very closely connected with circular economy, and I think Grażyna will start. We would like, so I would like to introduce the topic, the implementation of a circular economy in the compostable food packaging market, and we will present as partners. The first speaker is Dr. Grażyna Wieteska from the University of Lodz. Grażyna, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's my pleasure to start this presentation. However, I noticed that our presentation is quite different than the topics we've already known, because we are concentrating on the circular economy and sustainability in terms of environmental issues rather than recovering from various disasters and observations based on the COVID experience. So let me start. I hope you will find this topic very interesting. Thank you very much, Barbara. I'm starting right now. So this is presentation on the implementation of a circular economy in the compostable food packaging market. The next slide, please, Barbara. Okay, so each year about 10 million tons of waste end up in the seas and oceans. What makes them the largest landfill? Actually, it is estimated that around 80% of all litter in salt water is plastic. Sea animals not only get entangled in them, but also swallow them, so that the chemicals contained in the waste penetrate the food chain, thus affecting us, the health of humans, because man is at the end of the food chain, as we know. Food packaging used on a massive scale today is mainly made of non-renewable fossil resources, and the extensive production of conventional crude oil packaging and actually lack of the effective management of packaging waste led to the ecological disaster in the form of a plastic pollution of the natural environment around the whole world. Today, the most popular packaging materials are non-biodegradable polymers of petrochemical origin. And this group of polymers is marked in the figure as group number 3. They constitute as much as 75% of all packaging materials today. Conventional plastics, so the third group, are mainly obtained from such polymers as PET. We know PET polymer, polyethylene terephthalate, and it is the most often used for the production of bottles. Or we can mention here PP, polypropylene, with a wide variety of uses, including making trays, lids, snack storage containers, and so on. As conventional plastics, which are produced today on a mass scale, are a very serious source of environmental pollution, and as a result have a very negative impact on human health. Biodegradable plastics obtained from renewable resources are becoming the most ecological alternative for them. So it is the first group on the presented slide. In general, we recommend to reorientate from conventional polymers, so from the group 3, to the biopolymers, so to the group first. And the most ecological packaging made of the first group, yes, thank you, is certified compostable packaging. And this kind of packaging should meet the very strict requirements of European standards. Composting is a controlled process, yes, so it means that the compostable packaging after being used are treated during composting process in an aerobic environment in which microorganisms break down the packaging, so the organic materials, into environmental friendly substances such as, for example, water and compost. And in the first group, the leading polymer is used today actually on the industrial scale for the production of compostable packaging is PLA. This is polyacted. The source of this very simple sugar can be such renewable raw materials as potatoes, tapioca, or sugarcane. And we know that PLA has similar properties to the traditional polymers from the third group, such as PET, PET, or PP polymer. And therefore, it is the PLA is currently used to produce various goods for the food and catering sector, including cutlery, cups, or foil. In the light of the presented issues, the aim of our article is to identify the conditions for the development of the market of compostable food packaging, following the principles of a circular economy. The presented topic is a part of the international project, Symbio project, which is implemented under the Transatlantic Platform program, and in Poland, so in our country, is financed by the National Center for Research and Development. The full name of the Symbio project is New Frontiers in Social Innovation Research, Social Innovation Management for Bioplastics. The Symbio project started in Poland on the 1st of September this year and will last the next 2 years. This project is a global one. In Poland, there are 2 partners, SGH Warsaw School of Economics, and Barbara is representing this partner, and the University of Łódź, which I am pleased to represent at this conference, and of course in this project. Together with Barbara, we cooperate with the Convert University from Great Britain, with the Simon Fraser University from Canada and Federal University of São Carlos, located in Brazil. Okay, so it's all from me. Now I'm giving the floor to Barbara Ocicka from the SGH Warsaw School of Economics. So Barbara, the floor is yours right now. Please continue our presentation.
With pleasure. So I would like to present our research phases. The 4 stages of the Symbio project form a cycle of joint value co-creation with its stakeholders. We start by identifying the challenges for the usage of biopackaging in the food sector and its circularity in the economy. We identify the challenges throughout the entire life cycle of biopackaging in close cooperation with all stakeholders. In the first stage, we use 2 qualitative research methods. The first method is a systematic literature review on the subject of biopackaging supply chain management. The second research method involves a series of in-depth interviews with internal and external stakeholders in the food biopackaging life cycle. In the second stage of the project, Understanding Problems, we will integrate stakeholder groups to get to know each other's needs and aspirations in discussion panels. And then the stakeholders will jointly develop a closed-loop system for biopackaging. Stakeholders will understand both the challenges and the importance of their cooperation in solving problems. The third stage is focused on exploring solutions. In this stage, we will organize partnership panels of stakeholders to jointly develop innovations, for example, product and process innovations supporting problem solving. Finally, in the 4th phase, prototyping solutions, our stakeholders will conduct testing, rapid prototyping, and evaluate the application value of selected solutions. Now I would like to present main remarks regarding the biopackaging life cycle. The Symbio project is focused on the development of social innovation. The main research question is how can we cooperate to exploit the potential of bioplastic packaging while creating a closed-loop supply chains in the food industry. In the light of the in-depth interviews with stakeholders, we would like to recognize that the entities pursuing the goals of own activities in public or private sectors face challenges, which are often barriers resulting directly from the lack of processes integration between links in the entire biopackaging life cycles. Both entrepreneurs and institutional stakeholders are usually aware of and have really in-depth knowledge of the circular economy principles. They understand the significance and really know trends in the development of biopackaging. However, at the same time, they perceive the conditions that are challenges for closing the biopackaging life cycle. And now I would like to present the most important determinants. The first group include social factors. Here, on the one hand, the awareness and knowledge of consumers in the field of sustainable development are growing. They are also an important source of requirements and a market driving force for the company's activities. But on the other hand, there is still a great need for a broad education of end consumers according to the type of waste and the need for selective selection. The second group of conditions are legal factors and norms shaping the principles of research, development, commercialization, and labeling of biopackaging, as well as its circular life cycle. Currently, stakeholders indicate numerous gaps in the integration of biopackaging certification, as well as in supply chain management in the line with the circular economy principles. The third group of conditions consists of economic factors, and the fourth, technological ones. The development of compostable packaging requires research and development works on biopolymers and then scaling the results of these studies to the possibilities of industrial production, and furthermore, investments in production technologies. The importance of the economic and technological conditions as barriers is confirmed by the fact that there are no suppliers of granules for the production of compostable packaging in our country, in Poland. And our producers of biopackaging import bioplastic materials mainly from Italy or Germany. There is also a high need for investments in infrastructure for the development of waste management systems. For example, biobins, collection containers, selection lines, or biocomposting plants. The first results and conclusions from our research are devoted to 5 main aspects. I would like to present the results of the so far conducted research. So firstly, the literature analysis confirmed that there is a research gap in social sciences regarding management of the life cycle of compostable packaging based on the principles of circular economy and the cooperation of various stakeholders in this field. In addition, the in-depth interviews conducted with stakeholders allowed to conclude that the compostable packaging market as a niche market is still at a very early stage of its development. Furthermore, the authors recognize such theoretical and practical problems as lack of integration between participants in the entire life cycle of compostable packaging, as well as lack of standardization and conceptual chaos, especially with the terms compostable biopackaging and biodegradable packaging. A necessary condition for meeting the new regulations, for example, plastic directive or waste package, is to engage all stakeholders of the entire life cycle of compostable packaging in dialogue and active cooperation. Finally, from the point of view of the practical implications, we would like to underline a very important issue, which is that understanding the mutual needs and aspirations of raw materials suppliers, production and distribution companies, as well as business environment entities, including public institutions, is crucial for the implementation of an efficient closed-loop system for biopackaging. So I would like to thank you very much on behalf of the entire team of the research project Symbio, financed in Poland by the National Center for Research and development, which is carried out at 2 departments of logistics at SGH Warsaw School of Economics and the University of Lodz. We really thank you for your attention, and of course we will answer all your questions with pleasure. Thank you very much. So
Thank you.
my honor is to, to continue because I am the chair of the session. So please, all your questions and comments on this topic are really very important to us, and we will answer all of them. So I would like to stop sharing my screen, so I will have a look at the audience. Okay. Are there any questions or comments, or maybe
I see the question, Barbara.
Professor Barbara, I have one question, please.
Yes,
okay.
Please. The floor
Hello, Dr. Grażyna. I think there was a little bit left behind according to your presentation. This is about circular economy. I like talking about principles, principles that guiding our economic life. So what are the principles of circular economy that you mean? Thank you.
Okay. So I think we can have a look to our paper even to mention all of them, because we consider 10 most important principles in the circular economy. Grażyna, may I answer this question?
Well, of course, I will follow your answer if you would like. So please start.
So maybe a very constructive answer, but we identified and include in our research the following principles: refuse, rethink, reduce, reuse, repair, refurbish, remanufacture, repurpose, recycle materials, remine, and recover, especially energy. So taking into account this principle, we try to develop our research in this sector of the market, which offers compostable biopackaging generally in the food sector.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and maybe I will add some comment in terms of compostable packaging. The most important or most possible to be implemented principles are especially recycling. This is the organic recycling. And so the composting process is organic recycling. And the second one is recovering, because there is the possibility to get the energy from the waste, from the compostable packaging waste, by using the biomass to get as I said, the energy. So there are two main principles, circular economy principles, that may be implemented in terms of circular economy in the compostable packaging life cycle. So these are organic recycling and recovering. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you very much. And I see one comment, Barbara. How can we involve how to engage consumers? Yes, Himanshu Shi, thank you very much for this question. How can we engage consumers in the process? We with Barbara are after several in-depth interviews, and actually we are aware that the most important participant of the circular life cycle of compostable packaging is the consumer, actually, and the consciousness of consumers are the crucial thing to close the loop. And of course, all start at the beginning. So when the consumer choose the product, yes. The second thing, when the consumer use the product and is involved in collecting litters. So the second part, the second stage, the second critical phase is the responsibility of the consumer for putting the compostable packaging in the correct bin. Yes. So actually, we think, and the business practice regards that the awareness of the consumer is the critical determinant of the circularity of compostable packaging. How to engage the consumer? Well, actually, first we need to educate the consumer. So from the beginning, from the primary schools, there should be the in-depth education on what are the problems with the plastics, and how can we prevent, how can we improve, can we reduce our negative impact as on our planet. The second thing is the information from the producer, from the distributor, that this type of packaging is compostable. And here are the most critical problem is that the consumers don't have the knowledge how to recognize if this spoon is compostable and this spoon is not, and that spoon is not compostable. So to engage consumer, the producers need to put the correct and transparent information on the product that this type of good is compostable. And some of producers regard that it would be very easy to put some small mark on the product, on the packaging. For example, the green spot would say that this packaging is compostable. But of course, this type of change, so the decision that all packaging, for example, in Europe, which are marked with the green dot, is of course needs standardization and the involvement of the government, maybe also the certifications bodies that produce standards, European or national or international global standards.
Dr. Barbara, can sorry, I interject Dr. Grażyna, because the time is not in our side. I just have one comment. I really enjoy your presentation. I'm sorry, Dr. Grażyna, I'm taking your spot for a while because the time does not.
Yes.
Yes. Because we have to move to the closing ceremony. Okay, I have my back. It's okay. It's okay. Actually, my background is waste management, solid waste management, and I already did my empirical study. So basically, my areas which is talking about household behavior, the end user perspective, and then the local authority, the operators. So what I can suggest to you is when you are at the second stage, the second phase of your research, maybe you have a control residential area with designated bin. Because I found out in my study, all the households, they don't like to separate. So you put a color coded, whatever, they don't like it. So what we did, my study is in UK. So basically the British, the English, not Wales, not Scottish and Wales, they are good. The English, they prefer a commingle bin. So commingle bin, which represent any recycling type. So meaning that your supply chain will be, your reverse logistic will be the center. The center that sorting your recycling will be the one that the node point where to separate the compostable and the recyclable, the PPE, the PET. So that will be the job of the recycling center. So when you say the end user, it will be a challenge for your study. It will be what we call it, I can say it's a challenging because it's talking about policy, your local authority have to make a sanction, something like that. So that's why what my study found out, commingle bin, which is designated for recycling item in one bin. So the job will be given to another, what we call it 3PL in the waste logistic to handle the sorting. So okay, that will be much more practical rather than ask the end user to sort and is this compostable, is this not compostable? It will be very challenging for you guys. That's just my opinion.
Thank you so much. I must really finish this session because there is an invitation from Professor Naoman Pujavan, and the next hour link is very important to the summary session. So thank you very much from my side for sharing your interest, passion, research findings and research topics. And I hope that our discussion around all presentations was very, very interesting. Thank you so much. And I send you all warm greetings from Poland, of course. And I wish you all the best. Very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I hope see you next time. I don't know where, but I'm sure during the 11th conference on operations and supply chain management. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, and please.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Barbara. Have a nice time.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
It was a nice session. All of them contributed very well, and under your chair, it was so nice actually.
Thank you so much. It's really very important comment to me. So
thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
See you all of you in the closing function.
See you.
Yes.